over the last, I don't know, 2.5 weeks. I didn't get this on launch. I was kind of up in the air about it, and I've been playing it quite a bit. Probably put about 30-ish hours in 2.5 weeks, which, man, that's a long time. A lot of time to be putting in a game. And so let me start here. The synopsis is set in 1274 on the 1274 Japan, that should say. On the Tsushima Island, the last samurai Jin Sakai must master a new fighting style, the Way of the Ghost, to defeat the Mongol forces and fight for the freedom and independence of Japan.
Wait, now, The Last Samurai?
Tom Cruise, yeah. Tom Cruise is Jin Sakai.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So the object of the game, obviously, is Jin is left for dead in the beginning. Actually, 2 different occasions. The object is to rid the island of the Mongols, which, in a Punisher-esque manner, you rid the island of the Mongols. And I've been killing a lot of Mongols lately, so
okay.
It's pretty great, actually. So initially you're a samurai, and after you're left for dead the first time, you gather your original items back, but your main ally that's right from the start, I can't remember if he knew her directly in the beginning, but she's the one that kind of rescues you from death. Because I'm trying to think if he was poisoned or just stabbed. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
So is she actually a ghost? Or is she a ghost?
No, neither of them are ghosts.
Are they in the shell?
Possibly. She has to break him out of his shell to teach him the ways of the thief, if that helps. So he's kind of the thief.
Did you censor yourself?
No.
Okay.
What did you think I said?
The ways of the beep.
No.
Like you're doing like
the ways of the thief. The ways of beef. So this causes so your main objective in the beginning of the game is to rescue your uncle, who's like the leader of the island. He's not really a king or anything like that, but he's like the main samurai on the island, and he does not approve of your thieving ways, because what she teaches you is stealth, and the samurai are supposed to be, very noble and fight face to face. So that causes a really interesting story and a rift, actually, that I have not resolved yet. So
yeah, trying to walk up to a guy on a horseback with a bow and arrow probably not gonna work out for you.
No, especially when you're one man, and I mean, you gather allies along the way, but you're a man against the world, essentially.
So do you fight like an actual like Mongol? I don't know what you call a group of Mongols, I guess like an army.
Mongolians?
Well, I was thinking, because they were horse archers, so
yeah,
you're like waiting for them in a tree or something.
Well, so you'll sneak in the grass, kind of Assassin's Creed style, and cut their throats. And if you sneak behind the leader of a stronghold, so they'll be bunkered down in these little towns, and you have to liberate them and all that stuff. If you sneak up on the leader of the stronghold, you cut his head clean off, and it's great. Because usually you'll just stab him in a main arterial area, and and they'll bleed out. It's a very bloody game, and it's great. So obviously we went over the objective, but there's one thing I wanted to bring up about the gameplay, which is the map. So typically in these types of games, big open world game, you can get to a point and unlock an area like Breath of the Wild style, right? Or Far Cry,
or to be more on the nose, Shadows of Mordor style.
So I have never played it. Spider-Man.
Well, Shadows of Mordor is a game where you die and then a spirit brings you back to life, and then you kill orcs until the game's over.
Oh, sweet. Yeah,
you're supposed to take it back, but there's still orcs when you're done. So I don't know what the fuss was about.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how you're going to rid the island of all the Mongols, but I guess I'll get to that point. So what I meant was, you know how there are those towers you have to climb in Spider-Man, and it like unlocks an area, and you can see all the little symbols of, you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
completely shows you a chunk of the map. This doesn't. The only time it takes out a chunk of the map, other than the straight line you've run over, is when you defeat a stronghold. So it's really frustrating just running over every single like strip of land. But I
so they
believe,
found they found something less interesting than a tower.
yes, I
Good
think
for
if
them.
you liberate the map is split up into three sections. I think if you liberate the entire section, the map will open up finally. But it's very odd. I don't know why they do have a mechanic though where you can, if you open the map and you, let's say you want to look for fox dens, which we'll get into shortly, you can click on that and the wind will show you the nearest one. Like you can see the wind blowing and you just follow it. But it doesn't tell you how long you're going to be following it though. That's
Yeah,
that's a problem.
sounds like a good way to do some very effective kite surfing.
Yeah, that's why 30 hours so far feels a lot longer because I'm just running around a lot. I mean, I'm doing missions. You can see all the missions on there, but with big diamond shaped emblems, that kind of thing. But all the little bits and bobs and all that stuff, it's pretty wild. Unless, of course, I could be doing something wrong, but to this point, I haven't found an easier way. So, if anyone out there knows of a better way, I mean, it's too late for me, but save somebody else. So I wanted to bring up some parts of combat. We're going to talk about stealth a little bit, some quests, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts. I did play this on a PS4 Pro, and the game absolutely beautiful. It's, if not the best game I've ever seen, it's one of the best, hands down. And you know, obviously, we don't know really what 1274 Japan sounded like, but the audio is great as well, and I can imagine that, you know, it's along those lines. I guess. I mean, Jeremy, you're an expert on 1274 Japan. What do you think?
um, well, I looked at a little bit of video, and I don't think they were going for historical accuracy. Otherwise, there'll be a lot more horses.
Sure. There are some horse choices you can make, and
No, no. When the Mongol army
mhm,
traveled for war, they would have 4 or 5 horses per soldier, so they could carry the
really
loot back to Mongol. Yes,
bastards.
because the way they traveled is, and we're just gonna get off on a tangent here, but they didn't have to like keep a supply train of food. They had 4 horses with them, so the horses would eat the grass, and then they would drink the blood and milk of the horses, and also the food of all the people they kill.
Horse milk, huh?
Yep. Also,
Gross.
and they made alcohol out of it, which sounds delicious. They made
Mm,
alcohol out of horse blood and milk.
Jesus Christ. So, oh, I, well, one thing about the horses, once you brought that up, if you go to kill a Mongolian on the horse and you like try and slash at him, you can literally kill the horse. It's kind of weird. So it's like I'm trying to cut the dude up on top of the horse and I accidentally, you know, I mean, it does get him down, but it's not my intention, for God's sake. So the combat, you have four stances, and it's kind of a rock paper scissors scenario. So, well, maybe not so much, but so if you're fighting a swordsman, for instance, you want to use the stone stance. If you're fighting shielded, you want to use water. Spearmen, you use wind, and brutes use moon. And it can get kind of complicated if there's a bunch of different enemies around you because that happened to me quite a bit. Maybe I'm not very good at the stealth, but it did happen a lot. And
So is it
so
similar to like is it similar to like Batman Arkham style stuff where like oh he's got a shield after you use the XY combo?
Yeah, I mean it's close along the lines of Neo, where you can swap stances really quick with, I think it's R2.
Hmm.
And yeah, so you're swapping to it's not impossible to kill someone with the wrong stance. It's just a lot harder. There's probably someone doing a challenge or something at this point. But because it breaks their stances a lot easier if you use the right one. So let's see. Stealth. Okay. So you get a lot of Assassin's Creed vibes out of this. You've played Assassin's Creed, right?
A little bit too much, yeah.
So you know how they have that like eagle eye vision where you can see the outlines of people?
Yeah, the Batman visor.
Yeah, they have this in here, and they play it off as it's like your extra sensory, extra sensitive hearing or whatever. But it does make for easier gameplay because it's really hard to see, like especially if you're trying to scout far away. It's really hard to see exactly where everyone is. But I mean, I did like that aspect. Let's see. I'm just gonna run down the stealth tools really quick. Smoke bombs. You have kunai, which are just small blades. Black powder bombs, which are like little grenades. Sticky bombs. That speaks for itself. And wind chimes, which are lures. Which, as soon as I unlocked those, I was pumped because you just when you don't have the lures, you're just kind of trying to maneuver a lot. But when you do, you just chuck them into a tall grass like Pokemon style and just assassinate them, which is delightful. The last little bit I wanted to talk about the gameplay is the ghost stance, which is this really cool thing you get, I'd say about midway through the game. And if you kill, I think it's 8 enemies without getting hit, you get ghost stance, which is the fifth one. And as soon as you activate it by clicking in L3 and R3, or well, yeah, I guess this is a PlayStation exclusive, so
I don't know if this is a cutscene or this is a game. Because they're just standing there and you walk up to them and cut them.
yes, that's gameplay. And when you slash them, it goes from it's black and white as soon as you activate it, and then it's red every time you slash someone, and it's awesome.
Why is everything gray? Am I an LSD?
Yes. So main quests, very cinematic. They take the scenery to the max. Like you'll see a bunch of arrows, flaming arrows flying in, and they'll take their time to pan. So it's not all cut and slash. They're very good about you know showing you. Not only do they show you the scenery, but you feel the gravity of every main story quest you do. So some of the side quests are kind of lame, but one in particular, Masako's quest. I'm sorry for everyone out there who's done that one. I'm not going to get into it specifically, but not my favorite. So there are all types of kind of smaller little side quests you can do. Fox dens, shrines, duels, hot springs, and warning out there to everyone, every time you sit into a hot spring, you have to see Jin's ass. So just get used to that. It's a nice ass, I'll give him that. But I don't want to see it. And then there's random fetch and tracking quests, and those ones were not fun. So every time
Are they optional?
some of them are. Some of them are attached to story quests. So
Find the chicken, save the island.
yeah, it's like, do you see the footprints? I'm like, no. Well, find the footprints. Like, I don't see them. Then finally, you after running in circles in the little area for 5 minutes, you finally find the freaking footprints, and then you gotta follow them. And sometimes, if you're trying to sprint along to hurry it up, they'll veer off. It's like a little thing will pop up at the left. Return to the quest, or it's gonna end. Like, God damn it! I really don't want to do this, but I'm about 55% of the trophies done to get the platinum, so I'm gonna finish that out. Even though it's getting a little played at this point, I'm gonna stick to it. So, as I said before, the punish it's very Punisher-esque, and just kill them all, like God sort them out, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one funny thing is if you get into a standoff with Mongols, especially later in the game, it didn't happen much in the beginning. I think because your aura and your mystique grows as the game, like there's a meter and everything. They try to run. Like if you kill, let's say there are five of them you run into, and you kill four, the fifth one will try and just sprint away. He'll turn and just haul ass in any direction. And if you're not paying attention, he'll get away. But I use my bow and arrow just to take him down. I do not let any of them fly. So, but it's really funny because they're these, big tough Mongols, and they're just destroying everything. But when shit hits the fan, they haul ass, bat out of hell style. It's great. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was my least favorite part of this game by far. Every single time you rescue somebody, this is not an exaggeration, there's a cutscene. You get the widescreen black bars at the top. There's a freaking cutscene. And 9 times out of 10, the cutscene doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, thank you, Lord Sakai. It's like, you're welcome. The end. And then you have to sit there and wait for the cutscene to end every single time. I want to guess. I haven't counted, obviously, but I would say I've rescued 50 people so far.
And you can't skip the cutscene.
No, you can't skip any cutscenes. At least if you can, I have no idea how to.
Why do unskippable cutscenes even exist? Like,
I don't know. It's just it's so annoying on a game that's otherwise amazing.
Yeah, because like when we decided to, cover it in the review, I looked it up on YouTube. I'm like, this looks pretty good. But then I started watching some gameplay, and I'm like, they're jumping in and out of cutscenes an awful lot here.
Yep, there's a lot of them.
I always find that really annoying. Like, just let me play the game. I have a controller in my hands. There's a controller in my hands. I want to control something.
Yep. Now,
if I can't control it, it's too much like real life.
Yeah. Let me make this part clear. I did not have the desire to skip any of the main story cutscenes because it's a good story. There's even a part where, this is a spoiler, you're at odds with your uncle, who I said before is like the head of the island, and he exiles you because he says, he's like, okay, drop this path of the ghost, come back to being a samurai, we'll finish this the right way. And your guy's like, no, I am the ghost, and he exiles you. So it's really freaking cool. But all the other little cutscenes with the side quests and people who are named peasant, they don't even have names. He's like, look at you, you haven't even got a name tag. But nothing. Just, you can't skip it at all. And I pushed every goddamn button, even the share button.
Did you press start?
There's no start, but I pressed options many times.
What you got to do is you got to get a start button, all right?
Oh, okay. I was trying to even press the plus on my Switch controller, so who knows, right? So, all in all, fantastic game. On IMDb, we have 1,534 ratings for a 9.4 out of 10. I'm maybe a full rating below that. I'm probably 8.4, 8.5. I don't know what the difference between the two would be, but just to say a full one below. Obviously it's beautiful. The combat's fun, but it does get repetitive. Searching around the map is annoying. And of course the cutscenes are, if those cutscenes were skippable, and I don't even know why there's cutscenes to begin with these with the peasants. That sounds bad, but the ones you've rescued, like, why are we even doing this? Just you can have the dialogue at the bottom of the screen, but let me continue,
So it's got all the same complaints as every other AAA game that's been made in the last 10 years. Literally every single complaint, just copy and paste.
Yeah. This one is This one's more glaring than ones that, because the game is so good otherwise. I think that's why it's sticking out so hard. But do I recommend this? Yes. Hell yes. This is almost, not quite. I can't go that far. But this is almost a buy a PS4 to play this game. This is a buy the PS4 to play this God of War and Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, I'd put that in the same category. So, yeah, that's all I got for that.